A very good evening to you, esteemed viewer. We are glad you came through. This is Family Hour here on Church of Uganda Family TV, coming to you live from the heart of Kampala, Janan Luum Church House, on the 13th floor. The only Kampala view we know. When you're here, you can see all. We used to talk about the 5 hills, but now I'm told there are the 7 hills of Kampala. But nevertheless, here we are. This is a Thursday. This is the 2nd week of January, and we are glad that you are with us. But of course, this is our first show of Family Hour Thursday edition in this year. Last week, so don't ask me where we were last week. We are still welcoming the new year. And now we are back to business. Today, we are delighted to have you. Once again, we welcome you from wherever you're watching us from. You who is watching us on YouTube, you who is watching us on our social media app, on our website, on our app, and wherever you're watching us on mainstream, we welcome you to Family Hour. And of course, since we are in the early days of this year, it's important that we learn from what failed us last year to pick up the momentum for this year's success, because we really need to register a success story this year. And that's why today we are looking at leadership and new beginnings. Now, with us is someone who has been lost for quite some time. And of course, she's going to explain in details why she had abandoned us all that long. But we are glad that Dr. Patricia is here with us today. Doctor, it's a pleasure having you again after a long while.
Thank you very much, Adrian, and please don't put me to task to explain to the viewers where I have been and what I have been doing. But good evening, viewers. I'm very happy to be back. I don't know where my other crewmate is, but I know soon she will be joining us here or in the next episode.
She's still welcome.
An opportunity to learn and to learn from each other. I am still extremely excited about the fact that I made it to 2025 and all of you have made it to 2025. God is a good God.
Indeed.
And I'm happy to be part of this conversation.
Indeed. We are happy that we have you, Doctor. How was your holiday?
My holiday was splendid and action-packed at the same time, because I was here and there and the other place, but making impactful moves in the lives of people. Family TV is there to touch the lives of the people. So if I'm closely associated with Family TV, I've got to be involved in the process of touching the lives of people. So that's exactly what I was doing out there. Yes.
Yeah, now that this is our first show, I would say Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
We are still in the early days of the year, so I'm told that the whole of January, it's okay to wish people a Happy New Year.
Yes, because the year is ever new.
Ever new. Yes. But it's a pleasure having you. How is the inspectorate?
The inspectorate is fine. We are moving on, sailing above the tide, coming up with strategies. And right now we're actually preparing for the 2025 declaration period. So shortly before I came here, we were looking at the roadmap. What is expected of leaders? We expect that leaders, when it comes to March, will be able to declare all their assets, liabilities, and incomes, so that we ensure that what it is that they have is commensurate to their well-known sources of income, so that they walk in the light and can build trust among the people they are leading. Yes.
That is powerful. We pray that people freely respond.
Yes, and we are hopeful that they will respond, because last year we had about approximately 85% response. So this year we could shoot 90, where everybody who is a leader comes out and declares, and declares truthfully. It's the most important.
Is it for both private and public servants, or for only public servants?
It is leaders who are specified and provided for within the Leadership Code Act. So that is mainly public servants, yes.
Okay. Well, Doctor, today we are looking at leadership and new beginnings. And Maybe just to pick it up from that term, new beginnings. When you talk about new beginnings, there are songs that talk about new beginnings. I mean, people use it. People want to say, now let me start from a clean sheet. That is a new beginning. So what is a new beginning when it gets to leadership?
Well, leadership and new beginnings, they're very powerful strategy, because first of all, for me, I think it's a privilege for me to be here to discuss this theme that resonates with all of us leaders, because all leaders prepare to start with a bang. All leaders prepare to realign their strategies. All leaders make resolutions to improve. So when we talk about new beginnings, the power of new beginnings, especially in the realm of leadership, is very, very important, because through history we have experienced or witnessed leaders where they have to confront the need to improve. They want to pivot themselves to the top. They want to embrace change and embark on a fresh journey. So we sit back, retreat, and plan, and come with a bang and say, well, for me, this went well last year, but this 2025 I would like to improve in this aspect. So we basically review what we have been doing and think about new innovative approaches on how we can improve and pivot ourselves to the top. Yes.
Okay.
So new beginnings are not merely about starting anew, but about redefining possibilities for improvement, because they provide, new beginnings basically provide like that canvas on which leaders can paint their vision and inspire those around them. Last year this went wrong. How can we improve on it and make it better this time? So new beginnings involves lots of things. I was reflecting the other day on 2 Corinthians chapter 5 verse 17, which says, therefore, if anyone is in Christ, the new creation has come. The old is gone and the new has come. If anyone had experienced 2024, 2025 has come. So if we start 2025 grounded in Christ for direction, then we are able to experience a new beginning, because we will get that guidance. We will plan according to his plan and purpose for our lives, according to the mandates we have in our different institutions, and be able to sail through. Yes.
Okay. Now we get a true definition of a new beginning, that you're building on what failed you previously, and now that we are still in the early days of this year, it is really important that we have such a topic. Doctor, what is involved in the new beginning? Because even when the Bible says that we are new creatures, behold, the old is gone. Sorry, the old is gone, and behold, the new has come. What is involved in the new beginning? Even as we talk about the biblical allusion of behold, the new has come. What is that new, and what is involved in that new?
For instance, when you look at the new beginning, it involves, first of all, embracing change.
Okay.
We get to address our minds about the fact that we have gone through the old days. The old days have gone, and now we have a new year. So that means we begin on a new slate. It means we have got to, first of all, embrace change. It can be very challenging, but if you're a catalyst for growth, you will embrace change, because great leaders basically understand the power of stepping forward, the power of stepping out of the comfort zones, because sometimes when you're comfortable, then you don't think about new innovations. But when you get out of your comfort zones, then you have to drive innovation and progress. And by doing this, you find that leaders actually get to inspire their teams and the different people they are leading out there to adopt the similar mindset. So when I talk about embracing change, that means as a leader, for a new beginning, I have to see and come up with strategies to see how I can convince my teams to address or embrace that change as well. Then a new beginning also in respect to vision means that as a leader, we're supposed to basically inspire a vision out there. New beginnings require a compelling vision, a compelling scorecard, with a scorecard where you have a cadence of accountability. Am I able to account for what went wrong last year? If I'm able to account for what went wrong last year, what strategies do I have in place as a leader to improve? So leaders have the power to articulate that vision, to articulate that shared purpose that ignites the compassion and commitment within their teams at all times. So that when people see the why behind the initiative, then they are able to become more interested in the journey. They are able to become more interested in being part of the journey. So this serves as a guiding star. It helps individuals to navigate the uncertainties. You remember the star that led the wise men. They had to be focused and say, we have to go where the child is born, who is our savior, so that we can worship him. So a new beginning, when you come up with this vision, it's like a guiding star where you will help the teams to be able to see the why behind the initiative, so that they are able to join in and follow. Then thirdly, a new beginning for leaders, it helps us first of all to also build resilience. To build resilience. You look at the challenges for the previous year, and by the way, Edwin, last year was quite challenging. We went through murky waters. So the path to new beginnings is really straightforward. We also are able to appreciate the fact that there will be difficulties, there will be challenges, but how do we strategize to navigate through those challenges? So there will be obstacles to overcome, there will be setbacks to address. So as leaders, when we talk about new beginnings, we're also positioning ourselves and preparing to address some of those shortbacks. And then I think also for new beginning, it's important to champion innovation. Because now we hear about digitalization. People are using, the softwares. We're supposed to address our minds. So leaders out there, if you're still in the PO box era, we have gone. It is now digitalization and everything. So new beginnings often spark innovation. It sparks innovations. Leaders play a very critical role in this area, in fostering a culture where new ideas can be put on the table, where the ideas are allowed to flourish, where the teams can test and see what works best, and so on. So it basically also reminds us of how we need to strengthen the aspect of communication. Because for a leader who is going to embrace this new beginning, then you are supposed to embrace this new beginning with transparency as well. You should be able to communicate and foster communication. If you do not have a communication strategy, it's better to build it now so that your teams can know what is happening in the organization and be able to embrace and adapt accordingly. In times of transition, it's important to have clear and open communication as a very key and essential ingredient when it comes to dealing with new beginnings. So leaders who communicate transparently are able to foster an environment where there is trust, where there is collaboration, where people build teams, where they walk in the light and everybody knows what is happening. It reinforces a sense of belonging, especially among the teams. The teams are able to identify with the organization. The teams are able to appreciate and know the fact that they are wanted, that they are needed, that they are appreciated, and their efforts in the organization are not in vain. And finally, when we talk about these new beginnings, it is also an opportunity to celebrate milestones. As the year ended last year, I was involved in so many parties in December where we were eating, but we were celebrating milestones. We had our Directorate of Legal Affairs party, the Directorate of Leadership Code party, where I spoke and engaged with staff. We celebrated, we ate, we cut cake, and so on. So when we talk about
outsiders allowed to join.
Well, this was internal, where we're looking at how we can bond and strategize. So it's important to recognize and celebrate successes, however small they are, because there are some people, some teams who did not score big, and And there are others who scored really big, but we all had to come together and celebrate both the small and the big, and let even the small ones know. The small achievers know that they are valued, they are wanted, they are needed. So when we encourage progress as leaders, we allow our teams to reflect on their achievements. They sit back and look at where they scored big. They look at the cadence of accountability, and they are able to account for even the shortfalls which they made during the year. And they are able to reinforce the belief that they are moving in the right direction. Because there is nothing as bad and disheartening as knowing that you're driving in the wrong direction. But you know, when there is a strategy, when there is a light, you allow your teams to reflect on your achievements and know that they're moving in the right direction, and know that Chisoboka, when we put our heads together, we'll even score bigger. So this practice basically helps to motivate. It cultivates motivation. It encourages a culture of continuous improvement, because in new beginnings, when we reevaluate ourselves in this approach, we are able to tell and see where we are going. So, like in Luke 7, chapter 7, verse 47, you remember the lady who went and washed Jesus' feet with perfume and wiped with her hair and cleaned, and Jesus said her sins are forgiven. In new beginnings, that is what we do, because as human beings we also have weaknesses. There are many things which may not have gone right last year, so it's an opportunity to reflect on our personal lives as well. Patricia, how was I? The real me? Did I present very well? Did I reflect my walk with Christ out there? What I did it bring glory to my Maker? So for me, I think new beginnings basically hold a very immense power for leaders. They offer the opportunities to innovate, to inspire, and to create a lasting impact. Because when we embrace change, we then move a step forward. When we improve our communication and come up with a communication strategy, we are able to make more or to achieve more results. When we nurture resilience among the leaders, those we are leading, then we are able to guide our teams through transformative phases, which will help them in turn to be able to sail through the challenges, and also be able to embrace the opportunities for growth. So for me, my message to the listeners or viewers out there is to embrace the power of new beginnings, not only for ourselves as leaders, but also for the people we are leading. Because when we embrace the power of new beginnings, we are able to see the light, we are able to see this vision, we are able to follow this star and know the direction we are going, and we are able to make a significant impact in the organizations we are leading. Yes.
Doctor, talking about all this, you know, when you're talking about it, it sounds as if it is something easy to adopt, or something that is so soft on the rail. But are there any challenges involved while you are in the adoption of a new beginning?
Well, there are lots of challenges. Because first of all, as a leader, how do you make people believe in you? You cannot just come up with an idea and impose it on them. You have to market and strategize, and first of all, build a relationship with these people. So the authority is also very, very important. Not just any authority, but the moral authority within which you move as a leader in that direction. So there are challenges. Human beings, by they are very complicated animals. So they may not believe in you. So how are you going to position yourself to ensure that these people believe in you? By walking the talk, modeling the journey you want them to take. If they see that Patricia is able to do ABCD, they will say, Chisoboka, she has shown us the example. We are able to pick a leaf from it. This weekend, I had a BACO students at my residence, the Student Guild Leadership. And what were they doing? They came for mentorship. Because there are people who believe in me and say, but how did you make it? How are you able to balance this? How are you able to achieve this? So I was just sharing the nuggets with them and telling them, as a leader, you position yourself this way. You are supposed to have an authority, not just any authority, but a moral authority, which is grounded in 4 things. Are you competent? Do you have courage? Are you consistent? How is your character? Are you the quarrelsome person, or you present yourself with a character of humility that people will identify and want to move with you? Yes, so as leaders, those challenges are there, but we have to come up with strategies to see that we make the people, win the people over, and be able to lead them effectively. Yes.
So with experience, is it something that if you strategically plan for an easy thing to take up, or it depends on the kind of people you're dealing with?
Well, you realize that in order to be a very successful leader, you have to dare where others do not dare, meaning that you go for the most challenging tasks and tell yourself, I can manage this, and propel yourself, pivotal yourself up there. So I was still talking about the moral authority.
Yes.
Because, when you look at the moral authority in leaders, it is grounded on 4. I would call them 4 C's. Competence. Do you have that ability to lead? And not just lead, but lead very well. So as a leader, you have to present yourself with this competence. That means you have to have the skills and abilities to be able to lead. Secondly, you have got to have courage, and then also consistency and the character. So when you look at competence, it's basically about the ability to lead very well. And to lead with the moral authority we are talking about. We build a foundation of competence by giving our best shot each time you have an assignment you are doing. You have to give it your best shot and deliver with excellence. So we even in small stuff, for every small bits of assignments, when you give it your best shot, it's like a billboard for you. It speaks for you. Your results will begin speaking for themselves. You have to work with excellence to full completion. I know there are people out there who want to do half-baked work. They want to go midway and abandon and say, I'll finish this next week. No, I'll handle this assignment next month. No, I'll have to first have this meeting and consult. No. In so doing, they're pending, and before they know it, the year has come to an end. So what new beginning will we be talking about? So a new beginning, as a leader, you present yourself with leadership, with authority, and serve with competence, with ability to lead very well. Work with excellence to full completion. Work with devotion. Other than the first C of competence, there is courage. Recently, I was reflecting on Joshua chapter 1, verse 5, that have courage. Be bold and courageous, because the Lord is with you. Nobody will defeat you if the Lord is with you. So if the Bible has told me exactly that, then I have to have that courage, embrace that courage, move forward in the face of fear. Where there is fear, I just say, no, me, Chisoboka, I will sail through. So courage encourages people, especially during difficult times. When you're going through challenges, like we were saying, last year had its fair share of challenges also. So courage encourages people, especially during those difficult times. It enables people to maximize their potential very well. It helps leaders to find their voice. You can be there shaky, like you remember the first time I came here, I was even fearing to talk on these microphones. But today I can extend the microphone close and say, let me tell my viewers this. So let's encourage ourselves with courage as leaders. Because every leader who has moral authority will be able to stand alone at some point with that moral authority. And these are the moments which make leaders, because when they are evaluating you, they'll say, was this person able to handle this complex task and yet remain composed? So courage is very, very important, addition to competence. And then consistency. Are you able to do well all the time, not just sometimes? Because sometimes you ask people, are you able to handle this? Sometimes. As a leader, you're supposed to be consistent. That means you're supposed to be able to do well all the time and not just sometimes, which is very, very important.
Yeah.
And then fourthly, there is the aspect of character. What character do you present as a leader? Edwin, I know of leaders who are so quarrelsome, who when they enter their offices, the teams begin to run in different directions because they know that musajja muyombi, omuyombi atuse. So being bigger on the inside is better than being bigger on the outside. So as leaders, we're supposed to position ourselves and remain big on the inside with that humility. And moral authority is very, very important because it's a result of our right intentions, our right values, the right beliefs. It leads you to take right actions. It helps you to build the right relationships and even the responses. When you have moral authority, that's why in the law, there are certain positions who you don't just appoint anybody. Someone has got to be a person of highly proven moral character. That means that that person has got the moral authority. Not having this checkered history that, yali mubi, yakoze chino. You're supposed to have that highly proven moral character. So I think leaders need to cultivate influence. They need to know what they're supposed to be doing, because now that we are in a new season, we're supposed to strategize as leaders and see the direction to take and think about those new innovative ideas that would work to improve our organization. We have got to cultivate influence, to demonstrate competence, to show the people we are leading that I know what I am doing. I am skilled and competent in these areas, to show them that we have got the ability to engage with them and engage meaningfully. Because there are people who also engage, but they do not engage meaningfully. Yes.
Wow. Now, Doctor, as you were talking, you talked about character. But are there special qualities that a leader need, especially when they are embracing new beginnings, when they are ushering the team into new beginnings?
When ushering a team into new beginnings, it's very important for a leader to be grounded in values. Grounded in values and principles and norms that reflect in their personal character. Values like integrity, which is a bedrock for somebody's character. So if you are going to preach integrity to the teams, they should be able to see it in you. There are some leaders who say as I do as I say, but not as I do. But it is a leader has got to walk the talk and demonstrate that example. Demonstrate what it is he or she expects the leaders, the people he is leading to be. Yes. Like if you're going to say that for me, as I'm embracing this new beginning, I want to be a good time manager, then you need to keep time. I want my teams to keep time. Then you need to keep time. If you say, me, I'm going to be in office at 7 like I do, then my teams know that doctor is in office by 7 on the dot. Few minutes to 7 or a few minutes past 7, you will find her on her desk. So there are those values a leader can cultivate, and then also working with excellence. If you say, I want to be the best supervisor in this area, what are those things you are supposed to do? You're supposed to build skills and competencies around that area by reading, by coming up with new innovations, and also being creative. Not to do the same things, the same style you did last year and the other years. So we need to come up with new innovations and strategies to see how we can expand, how we can be impactful as leaders, and position ourselves for pivotal responsibilities. Yes.
Well, at this point, we are taking a short commercial break. When we return, we still have a lot to talk about, especially when it gets to new beginnings. Who doesn't want a new beginning? We all want new beginnings, and that is everyone's prayer, because at the end of the day, everyone wants to achieve excellency. And sometimes when you realize things are not moving on, it's better. It's good to take a time, reflect on what has failed you out, and then you start on a new beginning. So we are coming back shortly. Kindly stick with us.
when you are sealed in the Lord, the devil looks at you and you are glittering. The devil locates a crown. For any person that the devil locates with a crown, the devil will never eat them because they belong to the Most High.
Friends, don't you give up in any form of hardship. Don't you give up, for Jesus encourages us and says, even at the point of losing your life, for the sake of Christ and the gospel, it is okay.
My dear brothers and sisters, let us remember that God is still reigning on his throne in heaven above. And let us trust in him. Let us rely on him. Let us pray each and every time. Let us not give up on showing ourselves out into the world that the Lord Jesus Christ is still king and he still reigns.
You and I are here to reign on the earth, not to complain, not to grumble, not to play victim, not to quarrel, but to reign on the earth.
I pray, Father, that you will release the fourth man to destroy every fire, to protect your people who are in every furnace and set them free in the name of Jesus.
This is Church of Uganda Family TV, enriching lives, regulated by the Uganda Communications Commission.
Welcome back from the break. This is Family Hour, and of course this is our second part. In case you're just coming through, in case maybe you are doing other things and you're just catching up with us, this is the second part of this show. Today we are looking at leadership and new beginnings. Of course, we are exploring the intersection of leadership and new beginnings and discovering how to lead with purpose and passion. Of course, we are also looking at navigating, of course, change, building trust, and diverse success, and in the new and challenging environment. Of course, we are looking at a lot. And before the break, Doctor had given us quite a lot of information that, in case you missed, the only place to find that information is our YouTube channel. You can go back, rewind, rewatch, and share. Of course, share with your friends, share with your fellow leaders, share with your workmates, share with everyone who you feel needs this information. But of course, now that we are back, Doctor, we want to look at now the levels of leadership, especially in our navigation of new beginnings.
So when we navigate the new beginnings, first of all, we had concluded previously talking about character.
Yes, correct.
The leader needs to be having that bigger on the inside, that bigger picture. A leader needs to be grounded in humility, being bigger on the inside, which is better than being bigger on the outside. So we talked about moral authority as well. It's very, very important for a leader to have that moral authority, which is basically a result of intentions, of the right intentions, of the right values, and also right beliefs, and this person is bound to make the right actions and build right relationships and get the right responses as a leader. So when we talk about leadership, cultivating the levels of leadership in new beginnings, first of all, the level of leadership is about how you are supposed to draw people to yourself, how you're supposed to cultivate influence among the people. So as leaders, we are supposed to be able to cultivate influence among the people, and that is the reason why we are actually probably holding positions of responsibility or leaders. We cultivate influence to demonstrate competence and ability to engage with people. Edwin, you realize that people are now warming up for positions in 2026. Members of parliament, different leadership positions. But a leader who is not able to cultivate influence to demonstrate his competencies may not get what? Votes. I know out there the hungry person does not think beyond the next meal. So there are leaders also who are now preparing to do voter bribery and convince people, give them salt, sugar, and so on. And when they are voted, they disappear. But I am encouraging people out there to vote for leaders who are able to cultivate this influence by demonstrating competence. Now, this takes us to the 5 levels. 5 levels of the leadership journey. There is an author called John Maxwell who, for him, he says in these 5 levels, the 5 leadership levels help the leaders to understand how to influence teams. How are you going to influence teams as a leader out there? The first one he talks about is position. And he said people will follow because the authority has been established. People follow because they have you have authority over them. So they follow because they just have to follow, whether they believe in you or not. Meaning that the authority someone receives at this level is very limited. The person may not be qualified, the person may not have these competencies and skills, the person may not even know what the job description is, but he finds himself or herself in a position of responsibility. And that's why we're talking about position. And this is 5 P's. We talked about 5 C's previously. The first one is position. The authority someone receives at this level is basically limited. A person does not have to be competent at all. He just finds himself in that position. Then the second P is permission. At the second level now. And according to John Maxwell, he said people follow because they want to. Because they want to follow. How can they build that want to follow? And for me, I think here a leader begins to develop the authority we are talking about. A leader begins to build a relationship with people, and people begin to be willing to work with this leader. If people are able to begin willing to work with you as a leader, then with them they begin enjoying the space and time with you. So they find themselves beginning to give permission to that person to lead them. And that is why we call the second level permission, as John Maxwell puts it. The first one is position, the second is permission. Because people now come, they follow because they want to. They have seen you building relationship with them, you've gone close to them, you've shown them what you can do, and they begin to want to identify with you. That is the second P, which is permission. The third one is production. How do you pivot yourself and take charge of those around you? How do you get to gain influence with the people around you? It's out of production. People follow you because you demonstrate competence. People are able to see your results. They say, leader X is result oriented. I think I would like to identify with that person. Here, a leader is productive as a big step to gaining this moral authority we are talking about with others. So people follow because the leader has produced results and is successful, and they want to be part of the winning team. We had games with the family to family recently during the festive season, and the other family won the Okirias. And I was so excited. I went and carried the trophy and put it on my head, and I was dancing. And Joe, one of my sons, Timo, came and said, "Mommy, you're in the wrong team. You're celebrating with the wrong people. It is them who have won us." But you know, people want to identify with the winning team. Even when we had a fun day in the Inspectorate of Government, it was not my team that won. It was another team that won. But because they are staff of the Inspectorate, I was so excited. I ran and joined the celebrations. I marched with them and their trophy and carried them and got to touch the trophy also. I was able to be very close to the cup holder. So when people see production and output, they will follow you because you have demonstrated competence. They are able to see the fruits. Here, a leader is productive, and it is a big step in gaining this moral authority we were talking about. The third one is people. The fourth It's people development. And that is the fourth P, which John Maxwell talks
Position,
about. How
permission,
to gain
production,
influence among the people. It is about development. People follow you because you help them to become competent. And now this is where mentorship comes out as pivotal. If I am able to mentor people, they will want to follow me. Like I told you, on Saturday, I hosted over 100 student leaders, guild leadership in my residence. And this was mentorship. They are asking questions. I'm telling them about values and how it is important for them as leaders to demonstrate this character of integrity, to be ambassadors of integrity. And I said, now you are the ones who are leading the law students in the bar course in the 3 campuses. You have got to demonstrate the talk. You have got to be ambassadors of integrity so that we get a crop of lawyers who are also leaders, who are grounded in values and principles, which is very, very important. So when we talk about people development, a human being wants to grow. A human being wants to become like you. A human being wants to get to experience what you have experienced. So if you share your story, then those people will basically be happy and excited to follow you because you're helping them out there to be competent. So when you start to invest in people and help them to be successful at your level of authority, then you know that your level of authority is also rising. You're spreading your wings. So that's why I encourage leaders out there. Are you able to mentor? Are you able to do peer-to-peer? Are you able to encourage somebody, hold somebody's hand, and show somebody the direction to take? Are you able to be an example out there? So the lives of people you improve, you touch in different ways, basically speak as your billboards as well. For me, I'm very, very excited sometimes when I meet my former students and I find that they're doing very well out there. It gives me a lot of joy. When we're crossing over to the new year, talking about new beginnings, I was reflecting and scrolling through the messages I kept on receiving from my mentees, and it was very, very encouraging and heartwarming to see them talk about the good things, the seed you sowed in their lives, how you have impacted their lives and changed their lives completely. So you help people to improve, and this gives you also a level of credibility. So those are now the people who speak for me, who blow the trumpet, who say things about me. But I'm here, a humble servant, willing to help as many because I get excited when I get that feedback. So level number 4 is people development, how we contribute positively to the lives of people, and people follow you because you're able to help them to also be competent. You're able to model them, you're able to nurture them, you're able to hold them by the hand and give them opportunities to grow and contribute in their own ways as well. That is the 4th P.
Yes.
The 5th P is pinnacle. This one, according to John Maxwell, is kind of the pyramid where someone now gets to like actualization. So people follow because you have a reputation of excellence. Now this is level 5, the pinnacle, where people follow you because you have a good reputation, you have a good name, you have lived a legacy, built a legacy over times. And when you live a life of competence and influence people at the other 4 levels, then you approach the pinnacle of leadership. Because one, you will have brought them from the level where there is the aspect of position where they just say, a leader, okay, we've gotten a new leader, and they take time to study you. And then when they study you and you're building relationships, then they give you permission to lead them because you have demonstrated that you are able to. Then level 3 is production. How is your output? Are you competent? Do you have skills? Are you able to transform and touch the lives of many? And then people development. Are you able to make them improve and be better? And then you get to that pinnacle. Helping them improve at office. Edwin, I will give you an example. I have a mentee series with the people I supervise. I started with three directors I supervise in the 3 directorates. The directors enjoyed and went and came back with their managers. Managers joined and went and came with supervisors. The boardroom became so big because now all of them wanted to listen in. How can we make work that is seemingly getting boring, interesting? What is the thing that Dr. Patricia is talking about? How we can improve, how we can be able to navigate through challenges and come out victorious, how we can be able to impact the lives of many people out there through our work. So Pinnacle, people follow you because you have that reputation of excellence, and when you live a life of competence and influence people at the different levels, then you're, as a leader, going to reach this level of pinnacle. And this is where moral authority is established. This is where you get grounded in that moral authority. But of course, Edwin, there are people who will fight, who will be jealous, who will say, but how comes it's Edwin?
As usual.
And then they will begin painting a bad picture. They will begin making useless false allegations against you. But as a leader, we don't allow ourselves to get derailed. We keep our heads high and say, well, whatever they say, he who alleges must also prove. I know that me, Patricia, that is not me. It is just an allegation, because there are Bayuda, there are people who are jealous, who have Nugu and what. As a leader, you put a blind eye to that and look at how you're influencing and how you're moving ahead. So this is where the moral authority is actually established. And moral authority is not based on position, but it is earned through the skills. It is learned at the different four levels, and it is mastered to be as that highly competent leader. When you master that, then you're classified as that competent leader.
Wow.
For me, I wouldn't say that I'm there yet. I am still work in progress. I am work in progress. That's why you see I am still learning. I am trying to mentor. So maybe I'm at level 3 or approaching level 4. I'm not sure. But it is for the world out there to judge, because I cannot examine myself. For you, what level are you, Edwin?
I will answer after the show.
Let the listeners, let the viewers get to know where
I will answer after the show. So that
they follow you and say, no, Edwin, we had Dr. Patricia saying this, but we have seen you and tested you over times, and we know that you can be our mentor also.
Because like you say that you're at level 3, the people who look at you at level 5.
Okay. But I'm humbled because, people think, so lots of things. But you examine yourself and say, me, ndi wano, naye yinza okukyukamu nengenda nentuuka wano. So it is just a growth process. Yes.
Doctor, I want to take you back a little. In the first part of this show, you talked about communication. Especially in embracing new beginnings, communication is very, very key. But how should leaders communicate the new beginning, the new vision, and the change?
You can do what they call vision casting. Vision casting, where you set your vision, and then you come up with strategies on how you can fulfill, get to meet or follow that vision with different targets. You set targets and timelines and say, for me, I think this is what I strategize to do as a leader. This is what I want to fulfill during this period. This is what I was able to do during the period under review. So you do vision casting, and then you set strategies and you set goals and targets and say, for me, over the period, I think I'm able to do this. You don't bite more than you can chew. Process by process. Strategically, progressively, you will get there. You don't have to start with a big thing. You can go slowly, small, and say, well, I think this quarter we're able to do this within our means, and when we achieve this, we'll be able to have impact in these few areas. And then from there, you begin to spread your wings and go on like that. But with the other four C's, the competence, the courage, the consistency, and character. Because you cannot convince people to follow you when you do not have a good character, when you have not consistently done your things and completed your tasks properly. When you do not have the courage, when a challenge comes, some leaders avoid office. They want to run away from the problem. But when there is a challenge, as a leader, we are called to confront the situation head on and be able to find workable solutions. We are supposed to move forward in the face of courage. And this is the point at which we leaders are made leaders, because it's a moment for us to showcase our strength and abilities. And that is why I told you, for me, when I was reflecting on Joshua 1:9 and 1:5 and 1:6 recently, I saw that it is very, very powerful for us to anchor our trust in God, because that courage comes from God. It's not by our strength, but it is God who gives courage. If you look at David in the Bible, he was able to get over Goliath because he had that courage that the Lord gave him. If you look at Joseph, he was able to pivot himself to leadership, high position of leadership, because of that strength and courage. Even Daniel was able to be highly favored of God because he was a man after God's heart also. And the only fault they could find in him is the fact that he was close to his God. And so if as Christians we position ourselves in authority, with high moral authority, and demonstrate competence and courage and consistency and this character grounded in values and norms, then we will be presenting very, very good leadership potential out there, and we're able to serve effectively and have significant impact in the lives of people, because people will build trust and say, I've worked with this person, I think we can trust this person over a period of times. Okay. And it is tested over times. You don't wake up one morning and say, I'm here with courage. I am here with competence. People have got to test that competence and know that you have got the moral authority, you have built a foundation over times, and you're able to nurture others and hold their hands and move them through as a leader. Okay. Yes.
Lastly, Doctor, are there pitfalls to avoid, especially when you're embracing the new beginnings?
When embracing the new beginnings, but this question should have been for Diana, but now that she's not here. When you're embracing new beginnings, there are pitfalls to avoid. You look at where you burnt your fingers previously, because as leaders, we burn our fingers lots of times. Like I shared with you one time, when I got the assignment of initiating the policy of faith-based organizations. And the first meeting I called, I was by then Director Legal in the Directorate for Ethics and Integrity. And I invited the religious leaders, faith-based organizations. Adrian, that meeting backfired. It was a meeting of a quarrel, where people came and quarreled and said, who now wants to regulate us? We have been here existing. I tried to say, we know that you contribute as religious organizations, faith-based organizations, a lot to national development in this country through charity. You have built schools, hospitals. You're contributing positively to this nation. But it is important that the government gets to know what you're doing and how you're doing it. That is when I went and told the PS, I think this assignment, I will not be able to handle it. But before long, there was someone appointed to be Director, Religious Affairs, whom I believe has been able to handle the task very, very well. So there are times when leaders will also burn our fingers. Like you recall the International Anti-Corruption Day with a theme on the role of the youth in the war against corruption. But there are people who highly criticize our move also and say, why youth? Is it now that you're realizing that the youth can do this? Recently, when you were demonstrating, where were you? We said, no, it was about gathering you to have collective, constructive dialogue and coming up with solutions to most of the problems you are facing in this area. So there are those pitfalls we get to, and we burn our fingers. But it is not about the pitfall, it's how you came out. Did you come out victorious? It is very, very important that when you fall, you rise and you rise and rise and come out victorious. Because those are opportunities to learn lessons, and be able to steer your ship even better. Because as we face criticisms, even the best leaders face criticism. So, well, those pitfalls were there. I think please keep that question. We'll ask Diana also next time. But I know she also has her own share of the same. Yes. But yes, there are people who are stabbing you in the back. There are people who are trying to slow you down, you know. But you keep rising and saying, no, I can make it. I can make it. I can make it. And that is the courage within which an athlete moves himself. Because he will practice even when the heart wants to stop pumping. Say, I'll complete this race. I will complete this race. So that is the courage we need to carry with us as leaders, to keep moving and moving and moving. And from the different levels again of John Maxwell, you realize that when you master the art, then you are able to present yourself as that highly competent leader, because you are able to learn from the mistakes, you are able to learn from the pitfalls. But when you learned, how did you come out? Then you come out and you're able to freely and casually talk about it, so that other young leaders, upcoming leaders, also learn that leadership is not just having this responsibility on a golden platter, but it also has got challenges. Because even roses have thorns. They have thorns in them. It looks so beautiful as a rose. You want to pick it and put it on your flower pot. But remember that chances are very high that your finger will be pricked by the thorn. Yes.
Wow.
But it is important to see how you make things happen as a leader. When you experience those things, you don't go and cover your head and say, me, no, you have to come out and make things happen.
Doctor, your closing remarks as we wind up this discussion.
Thank you very much. Viewers out there, you know, there are some people who make things happen. Others wait for things to happen. And others are basically wondering what happened. Who are you? My call is that be that leader who makes things happen, make that positive impact in the lives of the people you are leading, using the forces and the 5 P's we shared from John Maxwell. It is very, very important for us to draw lessons in the new beginning and to be able to steer our teams in the right direction. Thank you very much. May God bless you. Thank you for staying up till this time.
Thank you so much, Doctor, as well, for giving us this time. It's a pleasure. And to our viewer, thank you so much for always watching, and we really appreciate the fact that you've been watching from the time we started up to now. I've worked with Jackie, I've worked with Brinko, I've worked with Didmas, and from the entire team, we wish you a blessed night. See you tomorrow.